If you want to learn quick and easy ways to solve math problems, please like and subscribe to my channel. The main objective of this blog is to show 4 easy and different ways to add integers. Integers or set of integers are made up of all positive whole numbers. All negative whole numbers and zero. The value of negative integers is less than zero, whereas the value of positive integers is greater than zero. Because zero is neither positive nor negative, it cannot be represented by any sign. These numbers are all around us. Let me show you some of these in our daily life. Examples of these are temperatures. Above zero is positive. Example is 30 degrees Celsius. And below zero is represented by negative numbers. Example is the 10 degrees Celsius. Similarly, in a building, the floors above the ground represents positive number and the floor below the ground or the basement is represented by a negative number. Other examples are altitude. Above sea level is represented by positive sign and below sea level is represented by a negative sign. Walking towards the right and walking towards the left may be represented by positive and negative numbers respectively. But take note that distance is always positive. When money is used to buy something, it is represented by negative numbers. Also, money that is being deposited is represented by positive number, while money withdrawn is represented by a negative number. Furthermore, profit is positive but loss is negative. Now let's add these integers. The first way is a typical way of adding integers. We apply these rules. Number 1, to add integers with like or same signs, add their absolute value and copy their common signs. Here's the example. Addition of like or same signs. Positive 1 plus positive 1 equals positive 2. Positive 9 plus positive 7 is positive 16. And positive 20 plus positive 55 equals positive 75. As you can see in our first 3 examples, we are adding 2 positive integers here. So the sum is positive. Let's have more example. Negative 1 plus negative 1 equals negative 2. Negative 9 plus negative 7 is negative 16. And negative 20 plus negative 55 is negative 75. In this 3 last example, we are adding 2 negative integers. The sum is also negative. Number 2 rule. To add integers with unlike or different signs, subtract. Take note, subtract their absolute value and copy the sign of the number with greater absolute value. Here's the example. Negative 1 plus positive 5 equals positive 4. Again, the rule here is to subtract their absolute value. So the absolute value of 5 is 5 and the absolute value of negative 1 is 1. 5 here has a greater absolute value and the sign of 5 is positive. So our answer is positive 4. In example number 2, negative 9 plus positive 7. Subtract their absolute value. 9 minus 7 is 2. And following the sign of a number with a greater absolute value. Here, the number that has a greater absolute value is negative 9. The sign is negative. Hence, our sum is negative 2. Positive 20 plus negative 55. Subtract their absolute value. 55 minus 20 is 35. And by following the signs of the number with greater absolute value, which is negative 55, hence, our answer is negative 35. Take note of these important points. When you add 2 opposites, their sum is 0. So opposites are called additive inverses when you're adding them together. Therefore, the sum of an integer and its opposite is always 0. Example is positive 1 plus negative 1 equals 0. Or negative 1 plus positive 1 equals 0. Here's other example. The second way of adding integers is by the use of number line. Let's use the number line in adding like or same signs. Negative 5 plus negative 2 equals negative 7. As you can see, the arrows that represent these numbers are all pointing to the left. Remember from our earlier discussion that moving towards the left is represented by a negative number. Hence, the quantities are added and the sign is negative. Let's have another example. As you can see, in this illustration, positive 3 means moving 3 units to the right. And positive 5 means moving 5 units to the right also. Remember from our earlier discussion that moving towards the right is represented by a positive number. Hence, the illustration simply means a total of 8 units to the right equivalent to a positive 8. Let's use number line in adding unlike or different signs. In this illustration, the green arrow represents a positive 5 since it is pointed to the right, and the red arrow represents a negative 3 as it is pointed to the left. As you can see, there is a 2-unit difference in length between the arrows. Hence, positive 5 plus negative 3 equals positive 2. Let's have another example. In our first figure, negative 6 is represented by a longer ray pointing towards the left as compared to positive 4, which is pointing towards the right. Hence, a difference of 2 units to the left of 0 is equal to negative 2. And in our second figure, positive 7 is represented by a longer ray pointing towards the right as compared to negative 3, which is pointing towards the left. Hence, a difference of 4 units to the right of 0 is equal to positive 4. Our third way is by the use of visuals to remember important points. Let's have these circles of positive and negative numbers. Please take note that bigger circles represent bigger quantities or absolute value. The first set of circles represents adding two positive integers with the same quantity and absolute value. An example of our first set of circles is positive 10 plus positive 10 equals positive 20. The second set of circles represents adding two negative integers with the same quantity and absolute value. An example of our second set of circles is negative 10 plus negative 10 equals negative 20. The third set of circles represents adding a positive integer with larger quantity or absolute value as compared to the negative integer, resulting in a positive sum. Our example of our third set of circles is 35 plus negative 10 equals positive 25. As you can see, 35 here represents the bigger positive circle, and the result of which is also positive. And the fourth set of circles represents adding a positive integer with a smaller quantity or absolute value as compared to negative integer, resulting in a negative sum. Let's apply these visuals. 45 plus negative 67 equals negative 22. In this example, negative 67 represents our bigger negative circle, which simply mean it has a bigger absolute value. Hence, the result is negative. Let's have our number 4 way of adding integers with the use of algebraic tiles. Let's have an example adding like or same sign using algebraic tiles. Positive 5 plus positive 7 equals positive 12. And negative 5 plus negative 7 equals negative 12. Here we use tiles with positive and negative signs. But we can also represent positive and negative tiles using different colors. Let's add unlike or different signs using algebraic tiles. In this example, Yellow tiles represent the positive 3 and red tiles represent negative 5. The rules in adding these tiles, since they represent unlike or different integers, is to pair them. A pair is equal to 0. So you will count only the tiles that do not have pairs. In this example, there are 2 red tiles that do not have pairs. Hence, red tiles represents negative integers. The answer is negative 2. In this example, red tiles represent the positive 7 and blue tiles represent negative 4. Upon pairing, there are only 3 red tiles left, which is equal to 3 or positive 3. To sum up, we learned 4 different easy ways in adding integers. First, by using the addition rules. Second, using the number line. Third, using visuals. And fourth, using algebraic tiles. If you have questions or comments regarding this topic, you may put it in the comment field. And if you want to see more videos like this one, please subscribe to my channel.